Welcome back to
Hello.
Basement Movie Room. And we're back again with another review. And this is the review of Jared's pick, 61 Asterix.
Yes.
So 61, I mean, if you don't know 61, maybe you're not an early 2000 HBO fan or a baseball fan. But this is the movie about the battle in 1961 between Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle to break Babe Ruth's 60 home run record. Of course, the movie starts out seeing McGuire and Sosa's battle. We
Yes.
see that. And then we kind of move back to the 1961 season with the New York Yankees between Roger Maris, played by Barry Pepper, and Mickey Mantle, played by Thomas Jane. This movie is directed by Billy Crystal, who is, I think, a huge Yankees fan. We were debating that because he's a huge Mets fan in the City Slickers movies.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
I think he's a huge Yankees fan in real life. He directed this movie about this. And really, the story is, it's interesting, ultimately. So it's kind of hard to recap, ultimately, in this.
Just the it kind of, in a recap, just deals with the struggles of both Maris and Mantle with this huge burden of, hey, these guys can beat this record this year. And the record that they're trying to beat is the biggest record in all of sports.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, the biggest icon in sports holds that record.
Yeah.
So that's being held against these guys.
For the same team.
yeah,
as
same
well.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's being held against one of the guys. The other guy,
yeah.
they want to see win. But the new guy, they don't like him.
Yeah, Roger Maris
So-
got kind of and I don't
Bad
know
rap.
if this really was the complete truth. I mean, I'm sure they added drama for the movie, but
Yeah.
Maris was not an original Yankee. Mantle, he was, like Mr. Yankee at the
Yeah,
time.
came up in
He
the
was the man. He
Right.
was probably the most popular player in baseball at the time this was happening. Maris came from North Dakota, I think he
Yeah.
said he played. He
They got him
he grew up.
from
They got him from
Kansas
Kansas
City.
City. Yeah, they brought him in from Kansas City. So yeah, I mean, so Maris and Mantle. Maris was less well liked just because he was not a Yankee, really. People
Yeah.
didn't consider him a real Yankee because he was traded for or signed in free agency. Mantle, on the other hand,
That's
was
what
like the
Yankees
most.
do. They bring in the best
Yeah,
players.
yeah, they still do it.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, Mantle,
what they've
on the
done
other
for
hand,
years.
was a Yankee from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Came
Mr.
up.
Yankee. They loved him. So they go on this battle, and it's kind of expected. The press at the first of the movie kind of expects this battle to happen, and it does. They start hitting home runs, and they're going for that number 61.
Yeah.
And as the season goes on, Maris and Mantle both are knocking them deep. There's no doubt. But we also get like a lot of the relationship between Maris and Mantle and Bob, the other outfielder there, who is their friend, and played by Chris Bauer, who you might recognize from like Prison Break or a number of other things. He's a great character actor. So you get this.
Yeah. All
this
three
thing-
all three guys in this movie make it believable.
Yeah.
That they've been friends for a baseball season and they're in this together.
Yeah, they're terrific.
So, yeah.
Everybody's terrific in
Yeah.
this. So, and then you have like a couple other Yankees players by recognizable actors like Anthony Michael Hall and a couple of, but they don't have much to do. to be
Shooter
honest.
McGavin.
Shooter
is in
McGavin.
this movie.
Yeah, Chris McDonald. Chris McDonald is the Yankees
I
announcer.
wore this shirt for that.
Yeah. And Peter Jacobson, or is it Peter? I think it's Peter, who you might recognize from like House, one of the later seasons of House.
Yeah.
Is in this movie. And then the dad from Harry and the Hendersons.
He plays a really crucial part in this movie.
Yeah, they're the reporters.
Yeah.
And
The
they
reporters
kinda-
are the most polarizing characters
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah,
in
they
this whole
kind of
show.
create stories that aren't really there. They're seeing
Exactly.
Mantle and Maris are in a feud, and they're like sitting next to each other,
Yeah.
like, "Are we in a feud?" And they're like,
I guess
"I
we
guess
are.
we
All
are."
right,
you know,
let's fight. You know,
Yeah.
they're on the same
yeah,
couch. Yeah,
they're totally not. But so Maris and Mantle at some
But
point in this
the
season,
one guy from House, what's his name?
Jacobson.
Jacobson. He at the very beginning of the movie, he's like, "There's 15 other papers in this town. We can't all write about the same thing.
Yeah,
So I got to come up with my own material."
yeah,
So
yeah. So that
that kind
clearly
of sets the ground for what is to come with.
Yeah,
all the
that clearly
pressure.
shows you that the press is not being
Yeah.
honest completely with the
Yeah.
situation. But of course, Mantle is injured during the season, as is Bob, but he doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
So it's really left to Maris, who, in the whole season, everybody's rooting for Mantle, and then when Mantle goes out, Maris is heading towards the record. It kind of people start getting behind him.
Yeah,
It's
they
kind of
hate him,
like
but then they get behind him.
yeah, they hit him.
After he can't break
Yeah,
that record,
yeah.
that's when they get
Yeah.
behind him.
So in the middle of this movie, it shows the Asterix conversation with the commissioner of baseball, and I can't remember. He's played by a recognizable actor, but I can't remember the commissioner's name. That says that if it doesn't get broken in like 154 games,
154.
Yeah. that it's not the same thing, because that's what Babe Ruth did in 154 games. So there's 162 games at this point, like a normal baseball season now. That it doesn't get broken, and of course it doesn't get broken in those 154 games. So we see the Asterix, which is been taken away at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point they took it away, but
Yeah.
the record's been broken again by
Yeah.
the steroid
times.
area of baseball, by Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds later on. But nonetheless,
Another thing about this movie too, they show these guys very subtly. They're using wooden bats, just like today. No batting gloves, but there's times during the movie where Mantle and Maris both have big calluses on their hands,
yeah.
and they're still getting out there and hitting home runs.
Yeah, there's that one scene of Mantle as
Yeah.
well with the injured right hand,
Yeah. He
right
basically
arm.
hit a home
He
run.
hit a home run
one-
with one hand, with his
hand.
left hand.
Yeah. So, and
And
these guys,
whether
going
that's
out- these
drama,
guys, probably is, but these guys didn't have the training that, or the all the care that goes
Yeah.
into baseball now.
Yeah,
These
there's
guys
less,
would
for
go out
sure.
every night and drink, smoking
Yeah.
in the clubhouse.
Mantle was
Smoking.
hammering alcohol.
Yeah, smoking and drinking
Maris was
in
smoking. Yeah.
in the dugouts. I mean, so different era.
yeah.
These guys
Sure.
were definitely the top, the pinnacle of
Yeah.
where sports should be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So of course Maris breaks the record, and that's kind of the climax of the movie is Maris breaking the record, and everybody loves him at that point
Yeah.
because Mick is out of the game at that
And
point. He's
broke
injured.
it after
Yeah.
154.
He broke it after 154, so we get the Asterix, which is later taken away by Faye Vincent
Yeah.
in the 80s, I believe, because I think Vincent was in the 80s, and then Bart Giamatti took over in the
That's
early
it.
90s,
Okay.
and that was Paul Giamatti's dad. He took over as baseball commissioner, but Faye Vincent had taken the Asterix off and made it the proper
That's
record.
it. Yeah.
It makes sense. So yeah, Maris broke it, but it kind of the movie overall shows kind of like the stress that was on Maris and how it went, and kind of Mickey Mantle, his own issues throughout the movie, because he was not a guy without his demons. Certainly, he ultimately died of like liver disease, because even after a liver transplant, he couldn't stop the drinking or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's what he
I
loved.
assume.
He loved drinking.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like
Yeah.
everybody would just offer him
He's
drinks
like,
all
hey,
the time.
everywhere I go, people give me drinks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink it. Here we go. I'm Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, and he
So-
was supremely popular. I mean, if
Yeah.
you say Mickey Mantle, almost everybody knows who you're talking about. If you say Roger Maris, it's not as common for people
No.
to know that. But
And this movie portrayed it
yeah,
so well.
Maris held that
Great
record
job
for
by Billy Crystal.
Billy
man.
Crystal directed it.
The
yeah.
the CGI was
Yeah, there was some
At
bad
times, yeah.
bad compositing and things
Yeah.
like that in this, but it really doesn't take away from
at
it.
the time it's fine.
It's about the story ultimately.
And this this show, like Winning Time, check it out, HBO Max right
Great.
now.
We'll be reviewing that when the season's over.
So this movie this it should be a show actually.
Yeah, this would
Not so much a movie, but
this was before HBO was doing
yeah.
that. You know?
So this is kind of like how Winning Time is. They focus more on the players
Yeah.
and everything behind the scenes,
Yep.
and not so much as everything that's going on the field.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, really the shots of the
Check
actual
out Winning
gameplay
Time.
is just like some of their home runs.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
there's
It's
some
mostly
real
off the field
footage in
stuff.
there too.
Yeah.
They do a really good job.
Yeah.
The score is amazing. I love the score.
Michael Shaman,
Yeah.
we discovered that was who scored it.
Yeah. It's very similar to Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
So if you like Band of Brothers, check this score
Yeah.
out.
It's kind of a light score. We're hearing
Yeah.
the
Can
the
kinda
main
get
theme
background.
in the background here. But it's very kind of light
Yeah.
and like an airy type score. It almost reminds me of like Zemeckis, the guy Forrest Gump score.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to like the
100%.
Forrest Gump
Yeah.
score and things like that.
Yeah. I
So
like
it's
that.
certainly very similar to that, kind of like a light and airy score. It's nothing heavy, which fits the movie perfectly.
And I think that fits Maris's and Mantle's relationship.
Yeah, because they
The
were
whole thing.
great friends,
Yeah.
according to this movie and according to history as well.
And so, story behind me bringing this movie to this, I actually watched a 30 for 30, which is on ESPN. They did the McGuire Sosa home run battle, and they had the McGuire scenes from this movie shown on that 30 for 30, and I was like,
Yep.
I gotta do 61 today.
yeah, it was a complete surprise.
So,
like,
yeah.
like this is one of the surprises.
I just grabbed this one.
yeah,
so-
yeah, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
And last time we watched this was
20
Probably
years ago.
when it came
was
out.
like 20 years ago when it
Yeah.
came out. Yeah, 18, 20 years
yeah,
ago.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Check it out.
All right, you rate it first.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I gotta go with a 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's a good rating.
Maybe I would go higher,
Yeah,
but it is a little long in parts.
yeah. It gets a little slow.
Yeah, a little slow. I would go higher than a 4 or 5, but 4 or 5 is good for me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go 4. So this may be like the largest
Yeah.
difference in rating we've ever had, probably.
We're still in the 4s.
I mean, I'm at a 4. I think it's a great movie. I don't think it's perfect.
No.
I bring it down because of some of the CGI compositing and things like that.
Yeah.
But overall, the story's good. It did slow down a bit. It slows down a bit in the middle, and it was kind of like put me to sleep a little bit in the middle because I think it probably could have told a story in less time.
Yeah,
I think it could have cut 15, 20 minutes out of it.
100%.
But yeah,
Yeah.
terrific
Still
terrific
love it.
movie. I mean, it's a terrific baseball movie. It's not like the best baseball movie. I'm certainly going to
Yeah.
rank like Bull Durham and Field of Dreams above it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a terrific baseball movie.
But one scene in particular with Thomas Jane and Barry Pepper sitting at a dinner table,
yeah,
and Thomas Jane is just explaining. He's an aging Mickey Mantle.
yeah. Played for 8 more years, like you said.
Yeah, and Maris is just sitting there like taking all this in, listening, not talking, and Mantle's and it zooms in on Mantle. That is probably the best scene for me in this movie.
It's a real good scene.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
great.
Great
and
acting.
speaking of zoom ins,
Great
this had a
acting.
lot of like really good like direct shots of people where
Yeah.
they're talking. It's really good. Like the in the next movie we're going to talk about, which was my pick, also has a similar feel to it, where it's like a lot of like zoom ins on people. Yeah, good shots.
Felt like you're right there in the conversation.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Great job, Billy Crystal.
Yeah, terrific movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't. I mean, if you haven't checked it out,
it's
one to watch.
We're 20 some odd years late on this one, but
that's okay though.
Love this.
All right.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
To
all
check
right.
out.
We'll see you next time on Basement Movie Room. Thanks for watching.
Thomas Jane, Barry Pepper, 61.